Right, well, welcome everyone to my first workshop. I've decided that through creating this Facebook page, I want to bring some good sort of learning and experience sharing and just general sort of community building, I suppose, between us all. You've all joined the group because perhaps you're either at that stage of life where menopause is having a bit of an impact. Maybe you're just approaching that age and you're starting to see some changes. But what I want to do is to bring all my sort of knowledge and expertise to this group and share that with you in order to hopefully get you through what can be quite a challenging life stage. Just a little bit about myself, if you don't know me personally. I'm Mary Jane Budd. I'm a psychologist and a coach, and one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because my own journey through menopause wasn't particularly good. It wasn't good at all. So as I came through menopause and settled down and started to see the wood from the trees, as it were, I'd gained a lot more awareness and knowledge about menopause and how I can coach women through this stage. I also work in a university and I'm carrying out some research about menopause as well. So sometimes I might post some studies that if you fancy it, you can take part in. I'm going to do workshops perhaps once a month. This first workshop isn't directly related to any sort of information about menopause, but I wanted to start with something that was perhaps just giving you a bit of an overview of what life's like for you at the moment and the areas that perhaps you would like to focus on and work on. Although I'm going to give you information about perimenopause and menopause, the symptoms and how to alleviate those symptoms, I'm also going to use some of my coaching in order to try and get you to flourish a little bit more in this life stage. So the first workshop is going to be on what you're going to focus on this year. Lots of pressure, isn't there, in January to sort of have a plan and to have those sort of New Year's resolutions fixed. And sometimes you can make big changes, but other times you might not feel like you've got the energy or the sort of motivation to do that. And I think what I'm going to take you through today, this exercise, some of the exercises today, just shows you how you can make sort of some small steps towards just bettering your life. I like that word. I like that word that we want to make things a little bit better. And I also like to make sure that people realise that we don't have to make big leaps forward. We can just make small steps, and those small steps add up and do make a difference. So I'm just going to start off by trying to make my slides move. Start off by just reflecting a little bit on last year. And there's a series of questions here that I'd like you to go through and have a think about. You know, I don't want you to write an essay for each question. I just want you to maybe put down a couple of points, maybe just one word even. So the first one is what or who boosted you? So what I mean by that is what gave you that sort of uplifting feeling? So maybe you go and see a friend and they always make you feel better. They always make you laugh, or they always support you, or they always say the right things. And so whenever you see that person, you feel quite boosted by them, or boosted by being in their company. And it doesn't have to be a person. It might be a pet, a dog or a cat. Those of you who know me, Pablo is always going to be quite an example. My cat, Pablo. So whenever I see Pablo, I pick him up and give him a cuddle, and he gives me a good boost. But it might be something that's happened as well, an experience. Perhaps you went to the theatre or to some live music, or maybe you went on holiday. So you went somewhere and it's more of a what that boosted you. Also, I want you to sort of reflect on what sort of drained you last year. Maybe something or someone has quite a negative impact on you and sort of drains that energy from you. Perhaps you've got a work colleague who spends a lot of time being quite negative, and so when you're in their company, however positive you feel, you start feeling a bit drained by them. Or maybe you had an experience, maybe something happened to you, maybe it was quite a negative experience, and that's really drained you for that year. What about what did you learn? So if you just think about, what did I learn, perhaps about yourself in 2023? Perhaps it's something that you didn't realise that you could be that resilient or that brave, courageous. And maybe you learned something about yourself. Maybe you learned that actually you could stand up to somebody. Again, thinking about work, I suppose. Maybe you stood up for yourself in work, or in your family situation. Maybe you could learn a little bit about who you are within the family sort of dynamics. We always act a little bit differently around our own family with our siblings and our parents. So maybe it's come into awareness what you're a bit like there. And what was your biggest achievement of 2023? Now, this doesn't have to be like a massive thing that's happened. It's relative to you. So maybe you found that you have started doing yoga every other day, and you feel like that's been a really big achievement because it's made you feel much better. Or maybe you've done something bigger than that. Maybe you've done something like passed a test, maybe passed your driving test for the first time. So have a think about what you've achieved in 2023 and what was that biggest achievement. It might be something a bit more personal, like perhaps you've got a teenage daughter or son, and you sort of got over that sort of grumpy teenageness last year, and that is your biggest achievement, that now you have a really good sort of free-flowing communication with your teenager. And what didn't go so well for you? So we thought about our achievement, what maybe didn't go quite so well for you. Maybe you're expecting something more to happen last year. And then I just want you to think about, this is something I came across quite recently. I want you to think about what is your non-negotiable. So we all have things that make us feel better. Maybe it's sitting with a cup of tea first thing in the morning. Maybe it's going out for a walk or a run. Maybe it's once a day you have that little piece of chocolate, and that just boosts you for the rest of the day. This is your non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. It's the thing that makes you feel better, that really you should do every single day, and you try and do it every day, and you try not to let anything get in the way of it. And then what did you find blocked your self-care last year? So I suppose young children is the obvious one. You know, if you've got young children at home, then often they take priority and you can't do what you want to do, even if it is your non-negotiable. So once we've reflected on last year, these questions will sort of start you thinking about what went well, what's good for you, what you can do more of, and then also you can reflect on the things that either you need to avoid or you need to overcome or address these things. So we talk about New Year's resolutions, we talk about intentions, we talk about goal setting. They're all quite harsh words, you know, they're all quite, they sort of signify that you're meant to be making some big changes. I think intentions are probably the softest of those three things, but they all mean that you want to behave in a certain way, and that what actions you take will help you to achieve that sort of outcome. And when you're setting intentions or goals, it's good to have a think about how you're going to feel if you manage it. So going back to that non-negotiable, so let's say your non-negotiable is going for a walk every day, 20-minute walk every day outside. And you want to think about how that makes you feel. Why is it good for you? Why do you need it? Why should you not do without it? And it's not just about you, it's about the people around you as well, because however you're feeling about things will affect others. So it's good to know how you feel, but it also is good to think about other people as well around you. So this question, wasn't quite sure whether to put it here or at the end. It's really good to have just one word that you keep reminding yourself of, that sets that sort of overall, overarching sort of theme for 2024. It might be that you are excited to do new things this year, or that you are determined, or that you feel that you're going to be really strong and not let things get to you like they have been getting to you. And it might be something to do with what you've achieved last year. It might be something to do with what you learned about yourself last year. So certainly at the end of this process, I want you to return to this question and take a look at what that one word is going to be. And it's a good idea to have this word up somewhere, or in several places. Maybe put it on the fridge, maybe put it where you work, stick it on your computer, have it by the front door, so that you keep getting reminded, so you're nudged into remembering what that one word is. So we come to sort of, I guess, the big exercise for this workshop. What I want to do is introduce you to a tool that is used quite often in coaching, especially in the early part of a coaching relationship. So when you meet a client for the first time, you want to get a sort of overall view of their life, what's going well for them, what's not going so well for them. And again, going back to that word better, what they want to make better in their lives. And the Wheel of Life is a really good place to start. And basically what you need to do is you get a big piece of paper, you draw a circle on it, and you split it into 8 parts, 8 segments, 8 pieces of pie, 8 pieces of cake. You can split it into more than that. It's quite good to push yourself to find 8 aspects of your life. And if you Google Wheel of Life, the coaching Wheel of Life, it will give you some examples of what to call those, what should we call them, pieces of cake? Let's call them pieces of cake. What you're going to call each piece of cake. But I like people to think up their own. So we're really thinking of the different aspects of your life. So we don't all do just one thing in life. We all have different things that we do, different perhaps hats we wear. Sometimes we maybe do some volunteering, but we do some paid work as well. We have different types of relationships. So we can have friends, we can have family, we can have romantic relationships. And we can have husbands. Same as a romantic relationship. Yeah, I guess it is. But we also have other things, other aspects of our life. So we might have hobbies, we might exercise, we might be creative, we might do some crafts. I've got a list actually, rather than try and remember everything. It might be that we want to do something that helps us to grow a little bit. So maybe some learnings, maybe something that will develop us personally. Maybe you're intending to do a course this year. It doesn't have to be related to the actual work that you're doing at the moment. Perhaps you want to try something completely different. You want to go off in a different direction work-wise, and therefore doing this course first of all will help you on that pathway. We can also use the Wheel of Life for perhaps just one aspect of our life. So we could divide, say, work into 8 different areas. And that's really focusing down on just one aspect of life. So if we find that there is a real problematic area of life, then this exercise can be used in order to break that down into sort of more manageable pieces. If anyone's seen my post today about what is coaching, one of the things I say is that I think it's really important to have sort of manageable pieces of manageable things that we can work on. So breaking things down into smaller parts so that we're not overwhelmed by issues and challenges. But for today, I don't want you to just focus on one aspect. I want you to do that full wheel of life, that full 8 aspects of your life. And this might take a bit of time to think about those 8. What's interesting is that people usually fill in 6 easily and then really struggle with the last 2. So it might be that you start doing the exercise, you fill in 6 slices of cake, you start doing the exercise, and then the other 2 sort of pop out of that. So if you can't think of all 8, because some of these that I've written on here aren't really relevant for you, then do maybe put as many as you can down, and then see whether you can stretch yourself to find the remaining ones. So you'll see that we've got, I've labelled 0 to 10. So 0 is in the middle and 10 on the outside. And we'll come to the scaling in a minute. So once you've filled in your 8 slices, or as many as you can, this is going to be very personal to you. It's really important that it's personal to you, because obviously otherwise it's not meaningful. So just to be completely open with you, these are my 8 pieces. So I have used work, friends, family, and spirituality. I've also used fun, learning, and then health. I've split between physical health and mental health. Cheating a little bit because I said we weren't going to focus down on things, but to me, I feel that those 2 sort of warrant being separated at this moment. So I talked about the scaling between 0 and 10, and what I want you to do is, with each slice of cake, I want you to say to yourself, how do I feel about work at the moment? How much am I going to give it? So 10 out of 10 is everything's perfect, loving it, loving life, loving that aspect of life, couldn't get any better, it's amazing. And then 0 is it's the worst it can be, you know, it's dreadful, it's really, really bad. So for me, work is about, that'd be about a 7. For me, I have quite a few different bits of work, but overall I'm giving it about 7. So it's quite a good score, really. Quite content with work. There are different things I could do differently, but actually 7's quite a good score. So what we do is we go round and we give the other slices of cake a score as well. And you'll end up with something like this. So it looks a little bit like a wonky spider's web. And some things have good scores. So friends, spirituality for me have good scores. And then there are other things that don't have such good scores. Fun, not much fun going on here, is there? And the way we work with this wheel of life is we can either look at some good things. So we look at friends and we say, well, friends is about an 8 out of 10, or 7.5, maybe 8. And what would make friends a 9? Well, there are a couple of people that I really, really want to meet up with. I just don't ever get around to seeing them. They're the sort of people who really boost me, you know, right at the beginning, who boosts you. So if I met up with them as well, then that would bring me up to a 9. So I could work on that. That could be one of my sort of things that I work on. How will I get there? How will I get to a 9 with friends? Well, I could give them a call, or just message them, see if they want to meet up. I need to make some space in my diary to do that. So the best thing to do really would be, yeah, call them, make sure I know when I'm free, and yeah, just see whether they're free as well. Now, things aren't as discreet as these slices of pie, as you can imagine, because obviously if I go out with some friends, and those friends are the ones that really boost me, then I'm pretty sure that this score will go up as well. So I could have started on this slice of cake and said, fun isn't very good. You know, I'm having a bit of fun, but not that much fun. So how do I go from a 2 or 3, maybe, if this is a 2 or 3, to a 4 or 5? Well, one of the things I can do is to go out with friends more. So you see these things overlap a little bit. And the same goes with my physical and mental health. How can I bring up my mental health? Well, going for a walk every day, that would definitely bring it up. But that would also bring up physical health as well. So what I want you to do is look at one of the slices of cake and work at the moment is an 8. What 3 things do you need to do to make work? Sorry, what would make work an 8? So work at the moment is a 7. What would make work an 8? I think what would make work an 8 would be to, for me to do some specific research work that I've been planning. What 3 things do you need to do to make that happen? I need to meet up with my collaborator. I need to map out what the research is going to look like, and I need to write that grant application. So 3 actual actions that I can do, tick off, in order to make to move work from a 7 to an 8. And this is really important. I think it's really important that you not only know what makes that aspect of life slightly better, but you also need to know how to get there. So let's just go back to my wheel and do that more specifically. So yeah, let's go for the mental health slice of cake. We want to make that about a 5 from a 4. Well, I think I could make sure that I go for a walk every day. How will that actually happen? Because quite often it's raining. Maybe I run out of time. And then it's dark in the evening so early. So how do I make it happen? I go out even if it's raining. So I put my big coat on, hood, wellies. Doesn't matter if it's raining or if it's cold, I'm still going out. Second thing I can do, make sure I get up 20 minutes earlier than I am getting up. So instead of having that cup of tea in bed, take the cup of tea with me when I go for a walk. And what's a third action I can take in order to make sure this happens? Let me think. Well, I think prioritising it. So instead of getting too involved with my my laptop and looking at my emails too early, make sure I've gone out for that walk first. So do the walk before I do anything else. Now, obviously, it might mean you might not have to do the 3 actions in order to make that aspect of your life a little bit better. It might only take 2 actions, but it gives you a bit of I don't know, it gives it a bit of strength if you have more than 1 action in order to make it work. Gives you a few options. And then what you can do is you can look at other aspects of work. Sometimes it's really nice to start with the high scores. So how to go from a 7 to an 8 or from an 8 to a 9, because you already know that side of your life is going quite well. So to make something better that's already going well somehow feels a bit easier. And sometimes it's a bit daunting to work on the low scores first. So maybe that's something you can think about. Try one of the high scores first, and then look at a lower scoring aspect of your life. Hope that makes sense. It's a sort of thing that once you get going with it, it's quite fun actually, and it gives you a bit of a boost to set yourself these sort of intentions of making things a little bit better. And don't try and go from a 5 to a 10. Go from a 5 to a 6 or 2 to a 3. So we're going to start small with everything, and then you have that sense of achievement, and you make sure you can see that progress happening. And then in 3 months' time, it's quite a good idea to repeat this exercise and to see where you're at now. Perhaps other aspects of life come into the fore a little bit. So your 8 slices of cake may change a little bit. So, for example, you might start a new relationship, and that has its own slice of cake. Or you might take up a really new career or a new work. You start a new workplace, and that will offer some new challenges to you. So I think the Wheel of Life is a really good place to start. Having reflected on last year gives you a little bit of an idea of what was going on. It gets you thinking a little bit more awareness of what was happening and what you can think about for this year. What's also quite good is to have a look at what's happening now. So look at that Wheel of Life, look at the scores on your Wheel of Life. And if you make those changes, if you put all the scores up by 1 or 2 points, what will life be like in 12 months' time? So sort of put yourself forward into 12 months' time and write down 2 or 3 sentences about what life would be like if you were having more fun, you were learning something new, and your physical health was better. I think I'll leave that one with you to do after you've done your Wheel of Life. I think it's quite a good idea to do this after that. So one of the things that I want to offer the group really is some individual coaching if you want. I decided to start this group because I want to support women going through perimenopause and menopause. And I really get frustrated actually when I hear of women really quite suffering. I don't use that word lightly, but suffering when they don't have to. And I think through some knowledge, some changes, and perhaps some support from me, nobody has to suffer. I certainly don't want anyone in this group suffering anymore. So use the group to ask questions, but also if you would like to go through the Wheel of Life with me individually, then please contact me either through Facebook or email me directly, and we can set up a session and we can do a session together. And I'm not going to charge for that. So if you sort of understand what I was talking about through explaining the Wheel of Life, but you're just not quite sure that you're going to do it, or that you perhaps just want me to take you through it, then do contact me and we can arrange something. It will be online. I do all my coaching online, but it works just as well. I think it works just as well. And it means that there are more opportunities, there are more time slots that we can fit together. So I wanted to make sure that the workshops were actually only less than 45 minutes each. I think it's difficult, especially in the evenings, for people to commit to anything longer than that. So that's my aim for future workshops as well, is to try and stick to just under 45 minutes. And I've just about managed it today. So I hope you enjoy this exercise. And like I say, if you want any help with it, let me know. And look out in the group for the next workshop, which will be in February. And I think, well, I will announce it, but I think I'm going to do it on awareness, specifically awareness of symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. So enjoy your evening and don't forget to do your homework. So complete your Wheel of Life, answer those questions, and remember that word as well. What is your word for 2024? So nice to see you all. Take care. Bye.